This is a small claims matter. This is David Reimer versus Drain Detectives LLC. Name for the record? Your name
Tracy Will.
and your name?
Luke Will.
And you all are both representing Drain Detectives. All right, so from what my notes here say, last time we were here was April 30th, is that we adjourned the matter for the defense to put on a case. I believe Mr. Reimer had put on his testimony and a lot of exhibits. And I think did you rest your case? You really didn't have anything else to present at that time.
We got to closing of the court right about the same time. I had everything I had to say.
Is there anything else that you needed to say or testify about?
You took plenty of notes. Is there any questions you have for me?
Not right now.
You sit down.
Yeah, okay. All right, so you all wanted to testify?
Correct.
Okay, who wants to testify first?
I can.
Okay, well, why don't you both raise your right hands? You solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give be the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, okay? Okay, go ahead, Ms. Rue.
Hey, so basically, I'm just gonna kind of start with like the brief explanation of what we did. So
Sure.
on January 19th of 2021, Mr. Reamer had contacted us because he had had a backup. We dispatched out a technician the same day, and we found an issue and left an estimate for a spot repair. On 2/2/21, he requested.
Okay, hold on a second. I can't write as fast as you're talking.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Just a little bit. So then you saying you sent out someone to kind of assess the situation?
They did find an issue, and
What kind of an issue?
he was in need of a spot repair out in his yard.
Okay,
He had some pipe that was in need of replacement.
so
So,
is that a repair or replacement?
well, it's called a spot repair where we basically cut out a spot and replace the section.
Okay, so that would be a spot of the pipe.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So they did provide him with a estimate. He did contact us on February 2nd, 21. And he requested that we email them the quote. He agreed to the estimate and provided a deposit over the phone.
So you sent an email estimate?
And I do have that in here. I was kind of gonna give you the like brief synopsis and then just go through what I have as evidence.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Mhm. I'm just making sure I get it.
Okay,
And so he agreed to the amount.
yes, and provided a deposit and scheduled the work.
How much was the deposit?
It was 500, I believe. It was 522,
$522.
yes. Yes, 522 was the deposit.
All right, go ahead.
So, permits were pulled and the work was scheduled. So on 2/9 of 2021, we performed the agreed upon repair. We had the work inspected and approved and collected the balance. During inspection, the inspector looks for proper connections, proper bedding, and proper pitch along with code enforcement.
Okay, hold on. So on 2/9, what's the date of the email?
2/2, and I.
Oh, 2/2. Okay, I had 2/22. Okay. So then on 2/9, you finished the repairs, collected.
Everything.
How much was the balance?
The balance was. $22,790.
Okay. All right.
Paid by check on the same day that we did the job and completed on 2/9.
All right. And then you said there was an inspector on site that day? And he said what?
He approved inspection, and I do have, I'll go through, it's in here, I have all the evidence of that in the file.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so on 4/14/2025, that's over 4 years later, Mr. Reamer had contacted our office questioning whether we had done work at his home and inquired about warranty information. He went on to inform us he had another company out for a totally separate issue inside the home and that they found something outside as well. He questioned whether we put strong backs on the pipe. Our lead tech talked with him over the phone. Strong backs are the connection that connects the pipe. It's required by code. Our tech explained we would have never passed inspection without them, and we most definitely would have done so. On 5/19,
Okay, hold on.
that helps, Your Honor, I'm going through in the back of this brief,
Ma'am, okay, where do you want me to follow?
the brief explanation. It's the last tab in the binder. I'm just kind of going through that to give you the brief synopsis.
This says photos, the last tab.
Brief,
I got timeline, I got agreement payment, I got inspectional.
inspector.
This is the one you just gave me. This was said contents, plaintiffs, exhibits, and materials.
It should be in that one.
Okay, here. Sure, show her this.
I think that the page I put in was covered, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay, so, on 5/19/2025, so that was, May 19, 25. As a courtesy, we did send out a tech to his home to investigate his concerns. Adam went out and ran a camera confirming that his problem was not related to our repair. He found an issue inside the home and a second issue beyond our spot repair over 4 years prior. And then Mr. Reamer was questioning, that we did not properly bed the pipe, and we explained again, we would not have ever passed without properly bedding the pipe. Adam had explained to him due to the issues he was having now that could have been causing the washing away of the bedding that was in question. He asked us for an estimate to get the new repairs done. He had mentioned that he had $10,000 of insurance coverage. He contacted us, and accused us of not using glue to secure the pipe. The evidence shows in multiple pictures that's not the case. Also, I have the plumber who installed the pipe who knows that he did and properly install the pipe with glue and primer as per code and bed it as well. Mr. Reamer had hired Z Plumber to perform the repairs that we identified during our complimentary inspection, both inside and outside of the home. I just wanted to bring up the point that, the evidence shows, in our opinion, that the Z Plumber smashed the pipe with their bucket, or they pulled it when they were maneuvering the pipe. You could see in the pictures very clearly.
What pictures?
Well, I have them in here, that's why I was.
So you have to assume I know nothing
Okay,
because I don't.
okay. Well,
So if you're relating to, if you're trying to tell me something, you gotta explain it. If you say, because you know your case well,
Right.
I don't. So you're gonna have to show me a photo. If you're saying you got a photo that shows what you're testifying to, then you need to pull the photo and show me where the photo is so I can follow along. Because otherwise, I don't know what you're talking about. Okay?
The brief, so if you wanna go into we can go into the estimate contract tab, and then I'll go through and just go through all my evidence with you.
Okay, so what you're telling me is basically you'd made the first repair properly in your view. When he called you 4 years later, you gave him a complimentary look and found two other items that you say were not related to the original work that you did. And
He hired a
he
company.
hired some other company to do that
perform
work?
the repairs, the inside and out beyond our repair, and also, they have a portion or if not all of that covered by his insurance company.
Okay, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Because this might help. If you're saying that the issues were beyond what you did, what are the new issues?
So he had an issue inside the home in the, he had like another, break inside the home, like within his, I believe it was his kitchen line.
Okay,
So basically they would have broken off the floor. And
who would have done that?
the company, we would have if he hired us, but the company that he hired, they broke up the floor inside the home, came outside of the home, redid our repair, because it would have been silly to try to salvage. So they
Okay,
redid it with
okay.
back them.
Let me follow this. So the company he hired, which is who?
I guess the plumbers,
Okay. Went in and
they basically did exactly what we told them was wrong. With,
so they went in and did what you said was wrong and pulled up the floor in the kitchen to repair the pipe. Is that what you're?
It would have been in the basement, like the line underground in the basement.
Oh, so when you say they pulled up the floor, what floor?
Break off the concrete under.
You were talking about the basement.
Right, but I believe it was the kitchen line that goes. down
Okay.
to the basement.
Okay, so they pulled up the floor. And then they went outside. And then did what?
They did another repair that was beyond the repair that we had done 4 years prior. But they went all the way through because it would be silly not to. I'll let him explain the details of that. He would know.
Okay, hold on a second. And you're saying this is the way you would have repaired it had he hired you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly what they did, but that's what needed to be repaired is where the areas that they repaired is what we were telling him was the problem as well.
Okay.
Okay, so if you can go into the estimate, payment and contract.
All right, is that the after timeline? I have agreement and payment. Where's estimate?
Then estimate, payment contract.
I just, mine says agreement and payment. It doesn't say estimate. Okay. And it says 1/19 of 2021. Okay.
Basically where we had left the quote, which would be exhibit 1. That was when we went out, we snaked this drain,
Okay, where's exhibit 1?
the next page.
An invoice?
Correct, this is the original estimate that was left for the repair. He was charged 169 at the time to snake the drain, and that was totally, it would be applied towards the repair if he got it done.
I'm not, I guess I'm confused because you when did you snake the drain?
Well, when he first called us, that's always our first.
Okay, because it's not flowing for me. I'm jumping around from first, now I'm back at what the new company did, and now you're taking me back to an original estimate that you didn't tell me about before, which the first thing you said was that he had called you on 1/19. The gentleman gave him an estimate of that he needed a spot repair. Is this the estimate?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because his drain was backing up, so that would be, we went out, we did a snake and then found the problem and gave him an estimate for the repairs.
Okay, so the estimate was what?
3,481 total. And 169 that he paid was applied towards it.
And that was just to give this estimate, the 169.
Yeah, and snake the drain.
Okay,
Okay, and then, that was the estimate that he was given. The next page is just the back of our contract. And then the exhibit 3 is the.
okay, where's this thing? Okay, I see it at the bottom. You got one original estimate, then you're gonna go to 3.
That's the estimate that was emailed him per his request.
So that was the request from 2/2/21.
And then the next exhibit 4 is the actual estimate or the actual email that was sent. Just basically stating the same thing, the estimate, please respond to this email authorizing the repairs with the amount
That's exhibit what, 5?
4.
Okay,
Then exhibit 5 is, if you look on there, it says I confirm that I paid deposit on form, so basically I'm agreeing to our contract and asking them to pay his deposit. And then, I'm sorry, 7 is just, again, acknowledging that we could take the payment over the phone, email on the 2nd. And then exhibit 8 was the actual deposit that he called in over the phone. And then, I'm sorry, exhibit 9 was the final invoice, and the balance paid upon completion.
okay,
And the next page is just the back of the contract again. And then if you go into the next inspection approval tab. On 2/4, the required permits were pulled and paid for, which you can see on, exhibit 11, and that's page. And then, that exhibit 12 is also the payment confirmation, permit confirmation.
okay, so 11 shows permits paid. Okay, and then what? 12 shows what?
11 shows them pulled and 12 is showing them paid for. It's just confirmation. And then exhibit 13 is the actual inspection. That was done by Russ Walker. It says a final inspection was completed on the sewer permit. At his address, it was completed and approved on 2/9/21.
Okay,
Then I just had with some photos and supporting evidence.
okay, what do you want me to see about this?
Okay, like exhibit 14, you can see, that it was alleged that the pipe came apart. By hand, but it was definitely, like, the evidence shows to us clearly that it was definitely smashed by machine or pulled where it busted. at some point when this other company was in the trench.
It was smashed by a machine or pulled?
Yeah, when they were trying to maneuver it, I can let him explain that to you a little bit better.
Okay. And what would the other company have been trying to do that might have caused the busting or pulling of the pipe?
Yeah, I'll have him explain it too, because he'll be able to explain that better.
Okay, well, what is this?
They want to replace the pipe.
What is it?
So basically I can go through, because I was at that job and I installed the pipe initially, so. I can explain like everything with the bedding was properly, because he tried to say that we didn't use pea stone. Which you're not supposed to use pea stone, you either use certified sand. Or you use fine gravel, because gravel is like teeth and it interlocks together. Pea stone is not used and it's not recommended in any place, because you can't get the compaction ratio, right?
Okay, wait a minute. So it's not recommended because you cannot get the compaction ratio.
Yeah, correct. It's not made for bedding. So I'm trying to explain what he's saying that we're supposed to do and why we're not supposed to do it, because I've been a plumber for 20 years. I'm a master plumber. I've done hundreds and hundreds of jobs. I did this job so I can explain exactly what you're looking at there. And the reason why we don't need bedding, and like, so whatever you need to do I can explain a lot more in depth.
Good, because I'm not a plumber,
Okay.
so I don't know anything about how this is supposed to look.
Yeah,
And what materials you do use for that. So let me, make a note.
so what's that paper under the Michigan code? Should say.
All right, so your position is you don't use pea stone. It's not recommended. The compaction rate's not right. So that's why you don't use it. And it's not made for bedding. It's not up to code.
No, you're supposed to either use sand or fine gravel. I'm just justifying because he said that we didn't do it,
Well,
so.
you should justify whatever you think is correct.
And the other company did lose it, which he said that he put bags of pea stone and he actually helped them carry it in there, which is not gonna be right properly anyways. If you cannot, under any of his exhibits, you can't see the connection that they even made. And then with strongbacks too, I'm jumping a kind of round. Strongbacks are basically a firm coat that connects one pipe to another, okay? Without any kind of glue joints. Surebacks, strongbacks, things like that are basically a rubber foam, a rubber connector, like a pipe that goes over it and then it tightens together.
This is a what?
It's called a fern coat. So basically.
Fern what?
A fern coat.
Spell that.
ERNCO.
A fern coal.
Yeah.
Explain it again. What does that
So
do?
basically, they're saying strongbacks, which strongbacks aren't necessarily code. Any kind of proved material is, so you can use a regular fern coat or a strongback, which has a stainless steel band. We always use strongbacks. The reason why is because it gives you more structural support, but if the bedding's done properly, you technically don't need it because there's no pressure points. But that's just going back to kind of like a couple things that he was.
So you don't need the fern coal.
Don't need a fern coat.
Okay, well, what don't you need if its bedding is done right?
Certain cities recommend a strongback. So a strongback is a rubber kind of that's sleeved over each side of the pipe to make a connector.
Mm-hmm.
A strongback is got like a stainless steel band that goes around it. So what it does is it makes it stronger so that it don't drop and things like that. But it's not recommended. You don't have to put it in, but a lot of people do. Like our company, we always do just to kind of give it that little extra support. It's kind of like putting on a cast, you know what I mean? So it's a little bit stronger, but basically the reason we didn't have to bed it without any other materials, because we never undermined it. So for example, see how that cast iron, that one that looks really brown and dirty?
Mm-hmm.
That's cast iron. Basically, there's a rubber boot that goes around there. I didn't take it off because what happens is they used to run crop. That would come out of the house, usually about 5 to 8 feet. And then they would take this crock, it's like terracotta, and they would slide it over it. you know, which is 6 inch, so it's a lot bigger.
Bigger.
And then that boot would go in there, okay, and that was their seal. So what happens is when he had a problem and we were replacing a section, what I do is I take a hammer and I bust out the top of the crock. And I take a grinder wheel and I grind the bottom of it inside. And then I pull it out so you don't ever lose the integrity of the main base. Because if you undermined it, then you would have to put proper stone, compact it on 6 inch slips, depending on what actually needs to be done. So then I leave that on there and then I made the connection. Everything I connected on this job was glued, primered and glued. 100%. That's why it's all busted up when they excavated it out. Another point, which let me see if I can see an exhibit to kind of explain.
Well, you know, the point that Ms. Will was making was that this on exhibit 14 shows a busted up.
Well, that's due to the excavation and the removal of it.
That was the company that came in after us.
Yeah,
That
that's
was
been-
So-
busting it up.
So I'm trying to understand, what is the point of that testimony?
So-
Are you trying to say that your pipe was in properly
Oh, it was
and it
installed.
wasn't damaged, it
Correct.
didn't fall apart,
So
and that this was,
he's trying to justify that we installed it incorrectly and not right up to code and things like
Hmm.
that. We 100% did, because I did it, okay?
let me ask you a question
Uh.
about the inspection. So is the ground all open where the inspector
Correct.
can look at every single thing that's done?
Yep.
And the inspector can see maybe how you said you cut into this pipe and covered
Correct.
it?
So basically, when you cut open the pipe, they want to see the excavation, the pipe put in and installed, so they can see the two connections and the bedding. That's what they want.
So they can see that by the time, you have to leave all that open so they can see. And then they can see if everything's properly glued or not.
Correct. And this is what it's,
Who's the inspector in this matter?
Russ Walker.
Okay.
and his job is in the plumbing,
Are you calling him as a witness? I
Colin.
would like to hear from him.
Oh, he don't want to come here. We already tried. He don't want to be nothing involved with
I
it.
don't
He's
care.
no longer with the city and he said,
He's,
I said, would you just send a letter for, but I have on out of the code book what the job of him is. He said he doesn't remember either, the job was so long ago,
okay.
but,
He knows what he does though.
I agree with that. But this says what he does too in the.
Yeah,
code
I can look
book.
at that. But it would have been better for me to hear, because I'm trying to understand, because the plaintiff is not a plumber.
Right.
He's making allegations of things that are done incorrect. You are a plumber here. And the inspector obviously knows what the code is and obviously has the duty to make sure that you're up to code and you're doing everything properly.
Well, we did get it inspected and he did sign saying that it was inspected and approved from his.
Yeah, I see that. I was just going down to the specifics. Well-
Insurance company.
Let me just say this. No one can ignore a court subpoena. Did you ever do that?
No,
Well, then you didn't try.
Well, we're just learning. This is.
All you had to do was request a subpoena,
yeah.
and I would have signed it, and he would have had to come or be in contempt of
Now, can
court.
you do that with the insurance companies? Like if he made a claim, to get all of his information of what he said was done before. So the thing is when you do the inside work,
Mhm.
they did it inside and outside. So basically you bust up the floor inside, okay? and-
That's the basement part that's coming from the kitchen, as she
and
said.
Usually it's deterioration and rot, okay? It ain't broken or collapsed, and there's a exclusion in the insurance policy that they don't cover deterioration and rotten because it's considered a maintenance issue. So most likely, he had to write up, Z Plumbers would have had to write up that it's broke to get coverage. You know what I mean? Because it's the way the wording, so if it's broken or collapsed, they'll cover it as long as it's within inside the foundation and wall. So what happens, when they go inside the outside, okay, to replace that cast iron,
Mhm.
they would have naturally came up to ours because we put a clean out as close to the house as you can, because it goes from 4 inch to 6 inch. And the reason why we put a 6 inch is because the pipe's bigger going all the way to the city main, and you want to be able to maintain it properly. So he had other issues further downstream that either one, he didn't want to fix, two, he couldn't afford it. I don't know his case. So now you can run a cutter through there, a snake, at a lot cheaper rate for a couple $100, and you can stake it and maintain it like over time. So he knew that he had problems, more problems. He just is doing this to, I don't even know why he's doing it. It's just, it's this, to me, this is ridiculous. It's a waste of all our time. And I know I installed it right. I know when you go from inside the house and outside the house, that little pipe, because he had problems further downstream that wasn't even ours. He had
Further
to go through-
downstream from where you had
Correct.
made your,
So he had
repair.
problems in the house.
Mhm.
Then you had the part that we fixed and put a clean out. Then he had further problems downstream. So when they go from inside to outside, they wanted to fix past ours, so you're not gonna replace a 5-10 foot piece. You know what I mean? You're just, because when you go to point A to point B, when you're digging, if you're trying to keep this piece here, it's gonna be hard to keep 1/8 pitch.
so what you're saying is a problem in the house and a problem on the other side of where you repaired will only sensibly or make sense
Yeah,
to repair what you all had done
okay, well,
as a straight shot rather than trying to piecemeal
exactly. So
one part. And you're saying they're different sizes?
well, yeah, they probably came with 4 inch outside the house, and then he has some pictures, but his pictures, when they have pea stone, don't show you the connection, it don't really show you enough. They improperly embedded it with pea stone. All I can tell you is everything that I performed on this job was done 100% to code and right. You know what I mean? Whatever happened before, the busted up pipe, obviously, it's done with either a hammer or a machine. You know what I mean? And another pipe, he says, so when you have a 4 inch, that small pipe, like this big, and it goes inside that Y on a bushing, okay? It slides in, okay? And then you primer and glue it. Even if, I'm just saying, even if you didn't glue it or primer it, it would not come out, because what happens is the only way it can come out when you slide it in is you have to pull it out and then drop it down to pull it out. So even if it's like on like a bridge, you know what I mean? So I don't know what he's trying to get here, but I know I did it right, and it's impossible for everything that he says. What I think is from my past experience, he had more problems, and that's it. He's just trying to, whatever, do all this work for nothing, you know what I mean?
Okay,
It
so,
just drives me, I don't know, I don't understand.
okay.
But yeah, we did it right. It's glued, primer,
Years later.
you know? You can see the glue and primer on his
Yeah,
pictures.
Cause it is a legend.
Where's the glue and primer on the pictures?
If you go to like, cause we brought it here, but he cleaned it off a lot. If you go to exhibit 17 on mine, which is, it's still in those photos and evidence.
Okay, wait a minute. Exhibit 17. Yeah, I'm looking at 15 and you say shows pipe was broken.
Well, you could see like on 16 too.
We cleaned it.
Yeah, but you can still see it. So,
Where's the glue on 17?
well, if you go to 16, the one before,
I see it.
alright, so 16, that pipe that he's holding in his hand is a 4 inch pipe. When you go to look where the purple primer is,
Yeah.
okay, that's the primer. Now, if you see the ring around it, it looks kind of like reddish brown.
Mhm.
That's actually the glue being pushed, because when you glue it, glue both sides, and then you push it in, that's the glue that kind of seep back. And that's what the glue is, right?
All that red around.
Yeah,
the
the radish, and you can see it around the bushing too. And when they pulled it out, they actually busted it up somehow, which I don't know what they did. You know, I wasn't there, so all I can tell you is it's impossible for it to offset like he's saying, because it's slid in.
Okay, so let me ask the plaintiff a question. Your position, and I have to go back and review my notes, okay? But your position is that they installed this wrong for several different reasons. You say they didn't glue when it was supposed to be glued. And you're saying that they were supposed to use some pea stone when they're saying that that's technically not correct per code. What else are you saying they did wrong?
The most critical aspect is in exhibit 16, if you still have the page open,
Yeah.
the entire section of purple to the left of that small wretch band. When you apply glue, you apply primer all around, and the primer is applied. You take a generous amount of glue, slather it all around the outside of the pipe, slather it all around the inside of the connection on the left. There would be so much material there, and it chemically eats into the PVC. it would be nigh impossible to just wipe it or swipe it off. You put those together, you pull them together. And
So you're saying they're supposed to slather glue all around the pipe? In all these sections?
so any section one puts together, there's a can that you purchase and the lid comes off. It has a small brush inside. You take the glue from there, and if my hand is the pipe, you take that brush, wipe around the outside like so, getting good, generous 360-degree coverage. You do that on both parts, put them together, and some may seep out. But if you applied enough generously all around, you get a good permanent hermetic seal. All of those pieces would be stuck and bonded locally, made into one chemically fused part. If it's applied sparsely or was forgotten to be applied, it would come apart later.
And your position is they didn't do that, so the pipe came apart, causing what damage?
The joints in question here in this photo, if not joined perfectly or not joined properly, years later, with the large soil pressure above, is able to bend down in its socket. That shatters the material you can see that's broken here. That permits the offset that comes later. That necessitates a capital repair once we discovered it. I was present with Z Plumbers the entire day on June 9th of 25, supervised the digging. Nothing out of the ordinary happened. They dug down, they got to this section that you see here. Imagine my hand is a wall of dirt.
What exhibit is that?
This is theirs.
This the same exhibit, you got it
Yes.
turned what kind of direction do you have it?
Well, to show the orientation of how it would have been in the ground. When I took this photo, it wasn't exactly oriented how it would be. Imagine if this is vertical, when my hand here is a clay berm, they haven't yet excavated. This came out in their hand. It was not pulled out by a machine. It is not scratched up or damaged. When that was discovered, that lack of glue in there, that necessitated this all to be carved away further. That was a large change order, which cost an additional $3,250.
Mm.
In my exhibits, it all goes very detailed chronologically.
And you're saying this was all glued. He's saying all of this,
100% was glued.
he's saying all of this should have been glued so much, it should have been all glue on the outside of the pipe, then it would have been fused together. What's your response to that?
No, it was installed properly. That break was I done a lot of these jobs. That break was definitely done with either was not man-made. He said that they pulled it out by hand. Let me just tell you, when you're down in a hole in that mud, nobody's gonna spend the time to do that. And when they replace it inside the outside to replace that pipe, they did the inside first and then they dug outside, not taking any concern of what we're gonna do because they start by the house. And they could have took that when they did the inside and pulled it up and broke it. It was definitely broke from a machine. And I was gonna elaborate and bring in all these things and take pictures of my machine, but I
He
think
actually
it's
admitted to
unnecessary.
that. I have it on call recording, but I didn't even bother bringing it in because it's,
Well, I can't do anything about what you didn't bring.
I'm just telling you, I could have put a lot more effort into, and I just,
Okay, effort into what?
like showing you with the machine, how they could have hit it, because he said it's impossible. I'm just trying to explain what he said on record, that you can't hit it going that way, but the arm of that's only about this thick. The pipe's this thick, your hole's this big or bigger. You can easily dig your arm next to it, and the bucket's bigger and you can hit it. You know what I mean? So I know how to dig. I've done it. I know we installed it properly. Everything's glued to code in the way you're supposed to. You're supposed to prime it and then glue it.
So my question had to do with all the glue he's saying
No.
you should have had on the
No,
outside.
Don't say-
And so therefore you see all the purple parts of the pipe.
the next exhibit too, you can see he had cleaned that one off a lot. You can see like
You don't
more.
have to be sloppy with it, but it just has to be applied. They don't specify that you have to put on a 6-inch, you have to go around 10 times with it, you know what I mean? You just put it around there and then you slide it in.
Okay,
Right? And that's
right.
it. And then the thing is it would never came out because we had proper bedding and like you said, all the pressure from the surface pushing down. Well, if you don't ever excavate it, it's still virgin ground. It's compacted at a higher rate. Now, when you dig it up, especially clay, you get fluff, they call it. So say you might get 33% fluff or 60% fluff because it's aerated. So it takes time to gradually go down.
Mhm.
But everything underneath the pipe is solid. So it acts like a header, like it's there is nothing that's gonna crush the pipe now. So,
Now with the way they installed it.
well, that has nothing to do with us, but the P-zone is incorrect, which I'm assuming that he's gonna be back here with you on taking them to court, because now I taught him some stuff, you know what I mean? If he has any more problems, but P-zone is not recommended, which is in the code book.
Okay, show me about this code that you've given me. What am I supposed to learn from this that you did right,
So
that's not done right by the other people or something like that?
This is just like professionals that made up rules and regulations, you know?
Yeah, I know. I know what a code is. Thank you. I've done cases like this before. I've not done this case, but I've used the building code and plumbing codes.
What's a problem too, so.
Okay.
Big thing.
So,
I've been going to meetings.
so I just want to know, you've given me sections. So what are you saying that shows that you did something correctly?
okay, for exhibit 18, I just highlighted what the inspector's job is, and for underground inspection shall be made after trenches or ditches are excavated and bedded, piping installed, and before any backfills in place. That's just telling you that he looked, that's what he's looking at. He's looking at the bedding, making sure the pipe was installed properly. And that's what his job is. to
Okay.
inspect.
Hold on. Plaintiff,
Comes under,
plaintiff. What is your response for the fact that the testimony here right now seems to show that an inspection did occur? They do have an exhibit that shows that occurred. The way it was explained is that they have to leave it open so that the inspector can see all of this area. He passed it. So how do you get past? Because you're not a plumber, but you've gotten information that tells you that it should have been glued more and that this was all done wrong. Why would the inspector, in your view, and we don't have the inspector to say, pass this if it was done so wrong or negligently?
I do not contest that the inspection occurred. I called the building department myself. I certainly agree that the inspection occurred and passed. There are limitations to what an inspection can visually see. This is the generic PVC joints.
What is that? I can't see what that is.
This is in my exhibit, it's exhibit 28.
So you're basically saying that the inspector passed the thing and didn't see everything he was supposed to see.
There are some things that are impossible to see visually. He can look down into the hole, and I do not contest that the condition was they stopped and waited for the inspector, because the inspector would not have signed his report if it had been concealed or covered. However, there is geometry of PVC fittings, which renders some of it impossible to see.
Well, what is it? What exhibit is this?
Exhibit 28 of my binder.
So what is it that no one could see that you're saying was wrong?
So this is a joint that has been cut in half, so we can see what they would look like if you had X-ray vision.
Okay, hold
Inside
on.
this section is completely round and concealed. This is the part where you apply primer and you apply glue. The glue is that very noticeable purple color on purpose. It is to signal to inspectors. Stand so you might see this easier. The purple is present to signal to inspectors that primer was used. However, the cement is clear. The cement is supposed to go over top of the purple. It doesn't change the color or the visibility very much. And if you don't slather it on there super heavy, you wouldn't see it dripping off the sides. It is impossible to confirm that there's glue present, but it is possible to confirm that there's primer present.
so you don't know.
Do you see what he said?
Regardless, his issues inside the house and beyond a repair, it has nothing to do with our repair. Our repair was not correct. He had those issues.
Well, he's telling me your repair is not done correct.
Well, you can't see it. He just said that you cannot see it as an inspector, so how can he see it?
And
Well, he can see
in
it.
But you can
the-
see
in the
it.
photos.
Did you see where he's talking
Yeah,
about?
but that's something off the internet, context is showing you, and he's trying to justify his point, but the thing is, it's on the evidence that he brought, it shows that glue's on. You know what I mean? What, did I not put enough on there? You know what I mean?
I wouldn't know that part.
I'm.
Because there's no testimony that tells me from either side exactly how much glue.
Regardless, they have that repair done, so it
That's
doesn't,
pretty
it's irrelevant though to.
Does it,
Doesn't matter.
all we have to do is justify that we did it right, which we did, and he's justifying that we did it wrong.
Okay.
And I know for a fact we did it. I put it.
All right, is there anything else, anybody else that you all want to add to this?
Cindy, I just wanted to go over that other code, the exhibit 19. Just to confirm for the backfilling,
Cause we said we were supposed to put Keystone in it, which in his notes.
we explained why you didn't have to, but, the only way we were able to use the material that we had on site, because we didn't undermine or over excavate. Which means go below the pipe, like dig out underneath the pipe over 6 inches, then you would have to bring in material for you to do that, so it's not required by.
So you're saying if you dig under the pipe over 6 inches?
No,
I'll let.
yeah, if you dig underneath the pipe, then you're gonna have to put bedding under there, because what it does is it makes it soft like mashed potato, but virgin ground is solid. So there's creates no pressure point, so it won't belly or.
That would have been the only reason we would have needed to bring in sand or fine gravel, not Keystone at all.
And you're saying section 306.2.1 talks about that, and they call that over excavation.
And then saying if you did, okay, because you would have to use sand or fine gravel, not pea stone. So if
Where does it say that?
it's like down
It's in that paragraph in the
on
middle.
the highlighted.
Insulation level, the bottom of the pipe was sand or fine gravel.
And then what you're doing is you're supposed to, if you undermine it, you're supposed to, every material has a compacting rate. So they're saying with sand or fine gravel, you're supposed to compact every 6 inches. So that means every 6 inches, you have to put a plate compactor or like a vibrator, and it packs it down, or a hole compactor. Which we didn't have to do it because all the material it was still virgin ground, the material was good, but
Confirmed by the inspection.
his problem is saying that we didn't do pea stone, which you don't have to. So basically, I'm telling you what Z plumbers did was wrong. And I'm sure the person who was out there wasn't a master plumber, I'm sure. But
Okay. All right, let me ask the plaintiff. So I guess one of your positions is that they didn't seat this right because they needed to have pea stone in there. And they're saying the code, and I'm looking at the code, doesn't say that. It does say sand and fine gravel if they do go up underneath the pipe, which they say they did not, which they said that the inspector could see. So what is your position on why you think they needed to be using something else?
I'm not going to make any assertion as to what particular material they needed to be used or not used. What I am asserting is that when Z Plumbers was excavating above, they stopped shy of the pipe, sent a guy down in there with a shovel. And as he was scooping material away, I did not see any material that was distinctly different from the native clay. No sand, no
And-
dark gravel, no pea stone.
He said he didn't do that on purpose because he didn't need to, because it was virgin soil, which was supported in and of itself and compacted down. So you don't need to do that unless you go up underneath the pipe. And then you've affected the stability of it. Then that's when you put the sand in, or the whatever, fine gravel. So his testimony was he didn't need to do that at all because he never disturbed the virgin ground in the first place. Okay, all right. All right, what do you want to say? Anything else?
no, that's really it. Just explain how we did it right and why, what he says that we did wrong and it's not.
Okay,
Guess I don't know. There's so much more, but now we're just kind of going back and forth.
Okay.
Just right.
all right. Anything else that anybody thinks they need to say or explain before I take a look at all this?
I did mention about, I do believe a good portion of, or if not all, was covered by his insurance company too, so that means he was paid. So,
Well, is that true? Did you get paid for this?
Not very
Damn.
much.
Well, how much that would be relevant if you've already been made somewhat whole.
Is it relevant due to collateral source ruling?
well, it's illegal to profit off insurance company, and if he won this case.
Well,
Well, one thing you're not entitled to do is recover twice. And if you've been made whole,
State Farm gave me maybe about $1,000 to break up the hole inside the house to give access to the surrounding pipes.
okay, how does that relate to them though? If the hole inside the house, they didn't have anything to do with that.
Because I had to do later. Digging down on the outside, you'll encounter the pipe going underneath your foundation wall. And if you replace the cast iron there, you need to make a connection within the house. The connection within the house can only be found underneath the concrete. So an access port had to be carved out. We made an access port about that big.
Yeah, but wouldn't you have had to done, let's just say they didn't even do any work. You would have still had to do that anyway to fix the parts that was the work that needed to be done that they didn't do, wouldn't you? Okay,
Cast iron from the 70s is my responsibility as the homeowner.
Right.
To remove my property if I intend to stay there long term.
right, okay.
I got a question, because I've done a lot of insurance work. So if the problem was originally outside and he had to excavate inside, they don't cover anything on the inside unless he says that the foundation was cracked or something and it was dropping the pipe. You know what I mean? That cast iron, like if that was broken, the foundation shifted or something and caused problem to the pipe, then he would have coverage. And State Farm is really good about covering what they need to cover, and that's it. They're one of the most, it's right there, it's a period and that's it. So for him to get coverage, there had to be something within inside the dwelling to be covered. So the problem might have been caused, I don't know what the problem is, I'm just telling you from my example. The problem was probably caused from inside.
Well, it was, because we had.
Because if not, he wouldn't have no coverage.
Camera, and he told them that, and then he had them fix it, the other company come out and fix it, there was a problem inside and a problem outside beyond our repair. And he had them come in and fix it all.
And like we didn't know how it works, you know, because we never got this elaborate, like in court, you know what I mean? Because obviously he's done this or knows something. And so then we kind of learned off the first one, you know what I mean? Like, all right, what we have to do, started learning more stuff. And we didn't know that you could subpoena like their insurance company, you know, because who knows what's involved in that? There could be some faulty stuff going on, you know what I mean? And he could have got paid off of it, I don't know. So, like, kind of like what you're saying, like,
I doubt you would make a claim for $1,000
When you're
it's
deducting.
probably at least 1,000. But he thought, there's no way to know, I didn't get a chance and subpoena that.
but the insurance company will pay for any kind, they won't pay for the pipe or the plumber to install it, but they'll pay for the access, so they'll pay for digging down to the pipe.
That's what I think he said. It was to access that area
Yeah, but
and dig it
nothing
out.
outside unless there was a problem inside and they had to justify digging outside to get to the foundation. So that tells us the foundation was a problem, whether or not if it was encased in the concrete, which I don't know, or the foundation has settled due to like, you know, settlement, then they would have had to go outside, which could that have caused what he's assuming that I did wrong, which I didn't.
Okay. All right, so if everyone's done, I'm gonna take a look at all this. I'm gonna look at the code closely. I'm gonna look at all the notes, and most likely I'll write something, but if I choose not to, I'm gonna call you back here for an oral decision. Okay? All right. All set. Mhm. You're welcome.
Like the evidence, wouldn't not,
Hmm.
with the evidence.
Yeah, we'll leave this. We'll call you to pick it up. We have your number, right?
It's not fair to take it away today if it's convenient.
I don't know if I need to look at it. Let me look at it.
I have materials to clean the car as well. Whatever you prefer.
Okay,
All set?
yes.
Thank you,
Thank
Your Honor. Thank you.
Your Honor, shall I hang around for a few minutes while you decide to dispose of this now or later?
No, you could go now, and we're gonna call you to pick it up. Okay.
Okay.
And that's why I was asking, we had your number somewhere on the file.
Is there a way for me to pick it up outside of court hours perchance? Like, press, leave it outside, I'll dispose of it. I have to take time off work to come in.
How would that work?
You're done with it. Bring it outside, maybe you come get
I was gonna steal it.
it.
Might steal the card. That's court property. But yeah, I guess we could. Charles, be sure we got his number just in case.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your time, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Incomplete.